We had 100 plays, and the effort by the players was excellent. Our execution can improve, but the effort, I thought, was really good. The only injury we sustained was a stinger to Marcus Epps, so we believe he'll be fine. As a matter of fact, he came back later on, and so it's one of the things you always hold your breath a little bit as a head coach when you're scrimmaging 100 plays to hopefully you get through it without any significant injury, which we did. The reason why we probably went a lot longer than what we normally did was to make sure we can get an evaluation on some of our younger players and our running back position specifically. And really thought, collectively, the running backs really did some great things today. Really pleased with Milo Hawley, broke off a couple long runs. Nico Evans had some nice runs as well. Kellen Overstreet, I think, had some nice runs as well. And so that's a tribute to those guys. And then the offensive line did a good job blocking. Defensively, a couple of guys that really stood out. Elijah Halliburton really was all over the field today between pass breakups and tackles, and he's very sudden. And so I think the more repetition he gets, the more opportunity he's going to have to see significant playing time. Also, Garrett Krall is a defensive end that did some really good things as well. And then seeing great progress by Johanna Gaffan. He made some really, really nice plays out there. And so quarterback situation, I thought Josh did some good things. He had one throw that I was disappointed in down in the red zone, but outside of that, I thought he really did some things well. He was not live, but he threw the ball. C.J. Johnson came up with some nice catches. We worked the kickoff game and kickoff return extensively. Kind of a mixed bag. We'll get the tape on that, but we got a lot of live repetition. So it was a pretty long scrimmage, longer than we normally have, and I thought we made some real progress.
Greg, with those running backs, and you talked a lot about them, they all do some good things. I mean, I know you'll look at the tape, but do you feel there's any separation there of those three, or is it pretty even, or how do you kind of assess that?
Well, I'll look at the tape, but I thought Milo Hall probably looked a little bit more electric than the other guys, but nonetheless, we're really pleased. All those three guys really came up and had some nice cuts. We got some good movement up front, and those guys broke some tackles, but I thought Milo was, he was a player of the year in the state of Colorado. He's kind of been a backup guy. I mean, he stepped to the forefront today.
Are you impressed with the spring he's having? Is it any surprise to you that he is kind of, playing this well right now?
The jury was out a little bit. I think sometimes, last year playing behind Brian and Sean, there can be an attitude of, hey, those two guys, I'm not going to beat them out. And so all those guys recognize there's open competition. And, they have competed each day. Mike Bass done a good job with them. And, we've got 1 week left in the spring game. And we'll come out with a clear consensus who our starter is, I think, at the end of spring. Now, whether we have a starter, which we name, there's going to be more of those guys that are going to play.
Do you feel, too, I mean, again, you look at the film, it's hard to really just after something like that, but that there's separation in any other areas, or there's still maybe a logjam, or maybe nothing, no one's really separated?
I think we're starting to get a separation at some of the positions on receiver. Austin Conway did some good things today. C.J. Johnson did some good things today. The next guy, James Price, I don't know if he caught a ball. We might have threw a ball to him, a couple of them today, but those three guys are kind of separating. We've got a little bit of a clump at tight end, and I think that needs to sort itself out. How Austin Ford comes in with Tyree Mayfield and Josh Harshman. And then, we're awfully thin at the offensive line, right now in spring, but I think those are the positions that we're really kind of taking a hard look at. And as I said today, we went in and said, okay, we've got to have a great evaluation of our running backs and get those young safeties and find out which guys can really step up to play. And I thought Elijah Halliburton answered the bell.
I know at that safety spot, Coach Dicker has mentioned kind of wanting a third guy this year to mix in with Dewey and Marcus. Does it seem like Elijah's kind of established himself there?
Well, after today, we'll look at the tape. We certainly appreciate Josh Boyd. He's doing some good things, but I thought Elijah Halliburton today was just, you saw his jersey number show up time and time again, and he was really sudden, so it's going to be hard not having him on the field.
Coach, you mentioned thin on the offensive line, but to run the ball the way you did, as effective as it sounds you did, how pleased are you with that group right now?
Well, they made progress, and we're pleased. When we say thin, a lot of schools can't even operate in a spring game because they're thin at that place, but we'll do that. Finding out Gavin Rush has taken a lot of meaningful reps at center along with Cole Turner. I don't think we're where we need to be there, but we're making progress. And some of the other things, Zach Wallace doing some good things. Caden Jackson's doing some good things as well. We appreciate Paul Schwab. He's been playing with number ones at the right tackle spot right now.
How did you like the way the linebackers are going? We've talked about Logan at the middle, and you like where he's at in Cash. Sounds like he's having a good spring at the will. Is that true? And is anyone else separating over at Sam or depth-wise behind those other two guys?
Well, not really. And, I think we'll take a look at the tape. I thought Cash made a couple plays, but I thought the running backs kind of had their way with those backers today. And there was some missed tackles, some arm tackles, and stuff we have to clean up. Now, that's just standing 20 yards back from the quarterback, and I'll watch the tape. But I think we'll need to make sure we got a week of practice. Those backers are going to need to practice.
With Paul getting those first team reps at right tackle this spring, can that be pretty valuable depth-wise moving forward?
It really is. We've appreciated him. He's a Wyoming player from Star Valley, and has come back from his mission and done a good job. And is an emerging guy to where he shows that he can go out there on the field and play meaningful reps for the Cowboys.
It's your last week coming up, Craig. I mean, you said this was a big evaluation. I know every day is, but a lot of the same things leading up to the spring game, or you dial it back a little bit, or how would you kind of approach the last week, I guess?
The last week, we're gonna continue to evaluate, but we'll integrate some schemes that we're probably going to need to see that we have not encountered, maybe some of the things our opposition does. This was a big evaluation day. The spring game, there'll be some evaluation done, but some of that is to get our players the field what to play a game is like. But there's a reason why we went 100 plays today. That we'll start to make some pretty firm adjustments on the depth chart, and so that may change a little bit this last week, but we'll have one of those days that will be in just helmets, so we only have one padded practice in the game. So I think the lion's share of our evaluation is about done.